Hey everybody, Erika here. I wanted to stop in and do this video about misplaced anger. And when we think about misplaced anger or just misplacing anything, period, misplaced is where you take and put something in a place where it doesn't belong. And that's what we mean by misplaced. You missed the place that you wanted to put that one item in, or that you should have put it in. And that applies to anything. It could be material things, but it also could be emotions and anger. In my term, misplaced anger. A lot of times we take and we place the anger that we feel, whether it's someone who has angered us, who's made us angry, or something we did to anger ourselves. And we take and place that anger on other people who are undeserving of it, people who have done nothing to us. We put that anger on them. Either it's convenient, meaning you have had that anger built up in you for quite some time and they just happen to be around. And so it gets unleashed on that person. Or, you are angry at another person and you can't find the courage, maybe, or the strength, or whatever it may be, to talk to the person who angered you and let them know how you feel about what they've done. So either way, the person who is receiving the anger where it doesn't belong, who's receiving the anger who didn't give it to you and you just put it out on them, is unfair. And a lot of times we don't mean to. We don't mean to do that. It's just built up for so long that, it just unleashed and we had no control because we were so emotional. Or some people have done it on purpose. They take that anger and they know good and well that person, it's something that they've done to themselves, that they have not received that anger from anybody. They did it, they made a mistake, or let's say we made a mistake, and we are so angry at ourselves and we don't want to take responsibility over what we've done, the repercussions of it, and what we're feeling. We want to take that to make ourselves better, and we want to place that on someone else. And either way, whether it's by accident or whether it is on purpose, either way it's wrong and it's unfair for someone to receive anger that they are undeserving of. So what we need to do is, when we feel angry, we need to deal with that anger, and we need to first identify where it came from. Where did I get this anger from? Did I do this, or did someone else give it to me? And more than likely, we know if a person makes us angry, we know that who gave it to us. Really, we already know that. So like I said, for some reasons, when someone angers us, we don't talk to them about that situation, how they made us feel. We don't talk to them about that because, number one, it could be that we feel intimidated by them. And when I say that, it could be a person who's a manager, a supervisor, who you believe holds your job, your place of employment, under control, meaning, they say the word, you could be out the door, you feel as though that you can't talk to them because of that. You feel intimidated by their position. It could be that. It could be, you may be afraid of the person. And in some cases, that happens where people are in fear of the person themselves. Um, it could be that. And or it could be like an emotional thing, maybe like a family member. You don't want to hurt their feelings, so you're afraid to, tell them how they feel because, maybe this is mom and, that's mom and I can't say. This is Uncle John and I can't say, he's an elder and I really can't. It would be disrespectful. And honestly, it wouldn't be disrespectful. And you would be doing yourself a great injustice by containing all that anger and not dealing with it and not speaking to the person who you feel made you angry. There's nothing wrong with you going to someone and saying that this is the way you made me feel. Now, I understand, aside from what I said about, not aside, but right in that group of where I said you could be afraid of someone, afraid to tell them for whatever reason, you also could be, fear plays a good part. You could be afraid of being vulnerable. Sometimes when we're vulnerable, we tend to, when we, the thought, I'm sorry, the thought of being vulnerable, we tend to back off of that, because if I tell this person that I feel this way, they can use that against me. And you have every right to feel that way, because people will use certain things against you. And I have had that happen to me multiple times, where you tell someone something in confidence and they just go ahead and just either run their mouth to somebody else, or they try to use it against you. I understand that that definitely is something to not fear, is something to think about when you do it. But you know what? You have to let go of the fear of those things, because you will stress yourself out. Anger is one that can, when you consume anger like that and you remain angry, the only person it ruins is you. It doesn't ruin the other person, because sometimes the people that made you angry don't even realize they made you angry. They have no idea that they offended you and that you're angry, or they don't care. Either one. I'm not saying one outweighs the other, but those two things, either they don't care, or they don't even know that they made you angry. So like I said, it can, you can, how can I say this? I get it why someone would not want to do it, but it's necessary. In some way, you have to build up that courage and leave that fear at the door and say, you know what? This person is no different than me. We're all human beings. We all, falter. We all make mistakes. No one is better than the other. So why can I not go to this person and say, I don't like the way you treated me, you know, the other day or whatever. This is what you did. This is how it made me feel. Now, what you do is, now it could go one or two ways. Either the person is receptive, they apologize for what they've done, and they said, I didn't know, I apologize, please forgive me, whatever. Or they could say, whatever, I don't care. I mean, and it happens. Either way, you don't let that stop you. The thought of something like that, you don't let that stop you, because even if they don't care, you got it off your chest. You told them how you felt, and now you know how to deal with that person and in that situation moving forward. You know, it's better to do that than to take your anger out on someone who does not deserve it. Because what happens is it becomes a vicious cycle of, that's going around. So you're angry at somebody else, you take the anger out on another person. Now you'd upset them and you hurt their feelings. Now they're mad at you. And now, they're not going back and telling you for whatever reason. And it happens. And then they scream and yell or treat somebody else badly, because this person, did this to me, but I can't tell them. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to just unleash that anger out on someone else. And a lot of times, like I said, it's not intentional. It just happens, but a lot of times it's not a good thing. It really is not a good thing. And all it does, like I said, is create a vicious cycle that goes on and on and on and on until instead of talking to the person whom wronged you, or even having that conversation with ourselves, because a lot of times we do that. We do that to ourselves. We do something that we made a mistake, and we're very angry at ourselves because we think that we should have done it this way and we did it that way, and we didn't do it the way we thought we should have done it. So now we're angry at ourselves, and I'm so mad, but I don't want to deal with it, and I don't want to sit in that, and I don't want to, admit to myself that I made the mistake. So since I'm mad, I need to take this frustration and this anger out on somebody, just not me. Because I'm already upset that I made the mistake, and I don't want to, dig into myself right now. I don't want to look at myself in the mirror and say, I need to change behavior. I need to accept what I did and forgive ourselves for that. So we go and we take it out on others. And it happens. It happens. Parents do it to children. People in relationships, husbands and wives, do it to one another. And like I said, it's not always intentional. It's just that we don't take the time to process the anger and figure out where it came from and deal with it. We would rather push it to the side. Let me just be angry all out in the street, all in the house, and just blame my loved ones. Not blame them, but put that anger on them. Somebody at work made me mad. I'm going to bring the anger home. And now the kids is making a little bit too much noise than I think. So I'm just going to lash out. Now the kids don't know why you lashing out. And they like, I ain't do nothing. I'm doing my normal thing. But dad yelling at me or mom yelling at me like I did something wrong. And now they angry. Now you got angry kids who take the anger from home and then they take it to school. And then now they in school and they bullying and beating up other children because mom and dad yelled, mom or dad or both yelled at me for no reason, and they treat me bad at home. So now I'm gonna take it out on you because I can't yell at mom and dad. It's just a vicious cycle that happens, and it goes on and on and on and on. So we gotta do as human beings a better job of knowing how we feel emotionally, knowing where it came from, and deal with it from there. Whoever gave you that anger, have a conversation with them. Now, either you have to make the choice, either you're going to have the conversation with them or you're going to, you know what, let it roll off your back. And when I say roll off your back, that's easier said than done, depending on what the person has done. So rolling it off, letting it roll off your back doesn't always work. So like I said, you process it and, talk to the person or you talk to someone. And that's a better solution. Either talk to the person about what they did to you, they made you angry, or you talk to a counselor, a therapist, psychologist, or whatever to get it off your chest so they can help you unpack what went on. And the same goes for if you make yourself angry. If you make a mistake and you're angry at you, so instead of letting that fester and build up, talk to somebody about it. Talk to your pastor, talk to your friend, talk to a psychologist, a counselor. It will not hurt for you to get that off your chest and find out why you're so angry about the mistake that you made. We all make mistakes. We're all human. We done made a ton of mistakes and we're going to make a ton of mistakes before we leave this earth. So that's one thing you have to practice is forgiveness. And if it helps you process through that process, you have to learn how to develop forgiveness. And that's another video I may do about forgiveness. But you have to learn, either you are going to talk to that person. I know I'm going over this again, but either you're going to talk to the person who made you angry, and whether whatever is going on with them, if they accept, that conversation and they, you know, please forgive me and they apologize, fine. If they don't, you got to be okay with that and know that you made the effort to patch things up. You made the effort to, get that relationship and keep that relationship going between you and that person. And then whether they take that or not, whether they accept, the conversation and they apologize, like I said before. If they don't, you got to forgive them and just leave it at that. You know what I mean? And leave it at that. And then take your next steps, whatever it may be. If you got to leave a job, if that person is going to continue to exhibit that behavior, you got to stay away from them. You make a plan, you stay away from them. And if you got to leave the job or the space or whatever you have to do and you have to take it to a high level, then you do that. But a conversation, it should start with a conversation and you expressing how you feel. And you'll be surprised how much better you feel after you have talk to that person that angered you and explain how you feel. I've had to do it. I've had to do it more than once. And I'm not one of those people who talks about emotions and all that stuff. I've gotten that way since I've been older, but I've never really been that kind of person where I'm just like, oh, you hurt my feelings and stuff like that. Oh, I'm an internal being. So I'll take it and I'll process it. And this is what I used to do: take it, process it, and hold it in. And I found out later on in life that's not helpful, because all it does is cause a lot of emotional problems within internally, and also physical problems, because whatever physical what physically, whatever is going on with our bodies starts with our mind and our emotions. It's internal. It starts internal. It just shows out physically. So whatever you got going on, aches and pains, digestive problems, you know um you know, like a lot of facial problems, like people get stressed out, they break out in bumps, stuff like that. Stress causes a lot, and that's all it is. All you're doing is all of that anger is built up inside of you, and it can cause you to have a heart attack. It can cause all sorts of issues, and you don't want to go there. You want to get a hold of that anger, and you want to work through it. You want to do a process. You want to learn how to put yourself through a process, like a self process of dealing with certain things like that. And it's never a good thing to hold that stuff in. You got to get it out so you don't spread it. Number one, spread it internally within yourself, and then spread it to the people you love, your loved ones. So I thought I wanted to share that with you, because anger can be a dangerous thing if you don't know how to deal with it. And like I said, you don't know how to process that, talk to a professional, because you don't want, because that ends up being mental health issues, which you do not need. This world has so much going on that it throws at you each and every single day. You don't need to add that stuff on to your life and then suck it in internally to the point where it is making you sick and is affecting all the people around you, like a bad virus. We already had COVID going on, so we don't need anything extra in our lives to kind of hold us back and to make us sick, even worse than what's going on outside in the world. So we don't need to bring that stuff, home. So hopefully this helps someone. Hopefully you got something from this video. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop a message. This will be taped. This will be posted on, is posted on YouTube. I don't even know why I said that, because that's where I'm gonna put it. So I don't even know why I even went through all of that. Just drop a note, a message at the bottom of the video, and I will get back to you. I'm certain I will definitely get back to you. So hopefully I will see you soon. Take care and have a great day and be safe. Bye bye.